Hello everyone, today I'm going to introduce a debugging plugin for Godot, called DsInspector. This plugin allows us to view and select nodes in Godot just like in Unity. This is the project's GitHub repository. It's now fully open source. This is a test project with various types of nodes inside. We haven't enabled the plugin yet. Let's first look at Godot's native picker. Although Godot's native tool can click to pick nodes, the user experience isn't very good, especially when nodes are stacked like this. We can only use the multi-selection tool. After clicking, it will match multiple nodes here. You might need to try them one by one for scenes with many nodes. This becomes very difficult to use. To solve this problem, we can use this plugin. First, let's enable this plugin. Here it is, Run in Game. The plugin is now enabled. After enabling, a floating icon will appear here. Clicking this icon will open a debug window. This window is the plugin's main window. Here you can expand to see the scene tree nodes. This is similar to the editor's debug buttons, with pause and next frame functions. The right side shows the properties of the selected node, including script export properties and field properties. Property values can be expanded to view and modify their contents. Referenced nodes and properties can also be clicked to navigate to them. There's a button above to jump back to the previously selected node. When you have multiple nodes that need to be switched between, you can drag nodes to the recording area below. Then clicking the recorded node will jump to the corresponding node. When you no longer need a recorded node, you can click to delete it. Dragging in the scene tree can also change parent-child relationships and order. This is the same as scene operations in the editor. Next is the node picking function. This function is very similar to Unity. You can click the scene to automatically match nodes in the scene. Clicking continuously will automatically match the next node. This function is very useful when the node tree is complex. The plugin can also view colliders and polygons. All these polygon types can be viewed. Let's switch to a scene with a viewport. For viewport scenes, the native picker cannot select child nodes under the viewport. It can only select the outer viewport continy, but it doesn't have the ability to select internal nodes. After using this plugin, we can select internal nodes. Nested viewports can also be selected normally. Nodes under window can also be selected. If you need to enable picking inside viewports, you need to check it in the settings. Allow picking nodes under viewport and window, because after enabling this feature, it will create a brush rendering node under your viewport node. This will break the original node structure in the scene. If you need to traverse the viewport or the entire scene, This setting may affect your traversal results, so it's made into a separate setting. The plugin also has favorite path and exclude path features. Click a node to add its path to favorites. This favorite is permanently saved locally. Even if you close the program and reopen it, it will still exist. But the favorite node instance function here only records this node. When the target node is deleted, this recorded node will be gone. But the path favorite will be saved permanently. If you have a Godot script project, you might not need this plugin. But there's another group of Godot users, those who use C# as the scripting language. Let's open a C# Godot project. This is an official game demo, rewritten using C#. Let's run this game first. When we run this game in debug mode, I'll set a breakpoint here. The breakpoint can be hit, which means we correctly entered breakpoint debug mode. After entering debug mode, we have no way to view the nodes in the scene tree, because there are no remote nodes here. So we have no idea what's happening in the game right now, what the scene structure looks like. So C# projects really need this plugin. Unless you don't debug, then you can only view remote nodes in the editor. So we can download the plugin from the Godot asset library. Search for DsInspector in the asset library. This one. Let's download it. Good. Install it here. Installation successful. Now let's enable this plugin. Good. By default, allow plugin to run in game is checked. So now we can start the game in debug mode. Alright, the plugin's floating icon appeared, but it's displayed in Chinese. Because my system language is Chinese, we can switch to the settings page and change the language to English. Now the plugin is in embedded window mode. The window is too small to display the entire plugin page. We can enable this setting. Use system window for the plugin. Let's check this. Then restart the game. Now after starting the game, the plugin becomes a system window. Now we can view the scene tree nodes normally, including picking scene nodes, which also works normally. Let's play the game. The enemies and their colliders here can be picked normally. Now we can see the node's property contents. We can also notify the editor to open scenes and scripts through this button. But you need to check this first. Open remote nodes and scenes in Godot editor. After enabling this feature, it will start an HTTP server in the Godot editor. When we click this function button, it will notify the server to open the corresponding scene and script. When we click on a script, it will open the corresponding script. Of course, this feature also works in the Godot script version. This doesn't differentiate between C# and Godot script versions. And there's also, if our game runs too fast, and it's inconvenient to click the pause button, we can enable hotkeys here. Here I've bound hotkeys to commonly used functions. We can modify the hotkeys ourselves. For example, I'll change F5 to F6 here. We just need to press F6 on the keyboard, and it's done. Now when I press F6, it closes the window normally. We can press the hotkey again to quickly resume from pause. Now paused. Then quick picking. The plugin has another feature. It can run the plugin in the Godot editor. To view the internal nodes of the editor, just check this option, and a floating button will appear in the editor. What's displayed here are the editor nodes. We can try to pick editor nodes. You can see there are quite a lot of editor nodes. After checking allow picking in viewport and window, you can also pick nodes in the open scene. That's all the introduction for this plugin. If you're interested in this plugin, feel free to give it a star. If you have any thoughts about this plugin, or features that need to be added, you can leave a comment below or submit issues. That's the end of the video. Goodbye.